So we have Senate Bill 338 and House Bill 2532, which was the group funded liability and group funded workers' comp bill. Looks like both of us changed the effective date, and both of us had really strong votes on our floors. So I'm sure we'll be able to handle those all right. Senate Bill 339 and 2531 was risk-based capital. Once again, both of us changed the effective date with strong votes on both of our floors. And then Senate Bill 340 and 2530 mirrored each other, and that was removing auto club from the definition of a person. Once again, we both changed the effective dates, and both of us had very strong votes on the floor.
I noticed that in all cases, you have a much stronger position than I do. So I'm going to have to fight here on this side, I think.
Well, Representative, I probably won't hold that against you on those three bills.
Okay.
Okay, Senate Bill 356 came to us from the department, I believe, relating to examinations, and you had a mirror version that I believe was stricken from the calendar or did not make it above the line. But I'm assuming it came out of committee. Do we remember what the mirror?
It did come out of committee, and I thought we even had a floor vote on it. Even though well, wait a minute. I think we did, didn't we? Oh, did it? Okay. Okay. Very good.
Eileen, do you have the House bill number on that by chance? Okay. Let's move on to Senate Bill 398 and 2715. Those were powers and duties and responsibilities of the commissioner to set fees. Once again, we both changed the effective dates. And then we have Senate Bill 423, which was reducing the number of board members appointed by the commissioner on certain insurance-related governing boards. You had House Bill 2714 that was also a mirror to that, but it was stricken from the calendar also. And then we have House Bill 2663 relating to title insurance and real-time payments. We did change the effective date on that. Both of us were unanimous votes on the floor on that. So, 2787 was the Kansas Insurance Guarantee Association Act. We passed that and changed the effective date on the register. So, and then if we move on to those bills that are conferenceable, let me start off with Senate Bill 553. That is a bill that came to us very, very late. And it was a request to allow health insurance companies to submit plan documents electronically. And then it would allow the insured to opt out of electronic and receive paper or mail. We heard that in committee. During that hearing, we had a proposal from the Kansas Hospital Association to add an amendment that would require prior authorization to be done electronically also. We spent about 4 or 5 days with the Hospital Association, hospitals, providers, and the insurance companies working out an agreement on that. The agreement was that prior authorization would go into effect on 1/1 of 28. The reason for the delay is CMS has come out with that in a ruling that is effective 1/1 of 27. And they've already extended that from 1/1 of 26. And so we did 1/1 of 28 in case they extend again. And if not, if it does go into effect for Medicaid, Medicare, and those covered items under CMS, then that would give another year for the private insurance companies to come on board. We did pass that with a very strong vote in the Senate, but I realize that you guys have not seen it or heard it. So,
right, yeah, I'm certainly gonna have to review that one, I do believe.
House Bill 2810, you guys passed, and that was part of the Insurance Guarantee Association, and it included the version that we passed was P&C, and this includes health and life. We did not get that until late, and we were already past our committee deadline, so we have not heard her pass that language. And then House Bill 2834 was transferring officers and employees and powers from the Department of Administration for state-owned health plans, transferring from the Department of Administration to the Insurance Department. I understand it passed the House, and we did not see it or act upon it due to the timing of it. So
Right, that one
we
was a little
know
late.
virtually nothing about that bill.
Right.
And that seems to be it. So we have given you an explanation on 553. Can you give us some background on 2834 so that we can understand it better?
2834, thank you, Mr. Chairman. 2834 came to us a little bit late as well. It was one of those that kind of skated in under the wire. The thought process behind this, once upon a time, I don't know, let's start the story with once upon a time. About 4 years ago, the chairman of General Government Budget, some guy who was very, very sharp, by the way, recommended from the A&M study moving the state employee health plan from KDHE to the Department of Administration. The thought process behind that, I'm told from this very sharp individual, that was that we were combining benefits to benefits. Department of Administration handled benefits. That's great. Let's put benefits in the Department of Administration. There have been some difficulties that have arisen from that. And I think the majority really is from the fact that the Department of Administration is not. That was nice. Who did that? Well, is not an insurance agency. They're not familiar with insurance. That's not something that they typically deal with. So after 4 years, we thought, well, maybe this isn't exactly the right fit. I think we're on the right track to organize our benefits in a way that makes more sense. But the thought prevailed that perhaps the Department of Insurance would be the correct place to park this due to the fact that it is an insurance service in an insurance department. It seems to make more sense. There'd be a little bit more knowledge about the insurance industry.
The whole story is insurance is policy. It is not this other, and I think it's a fair evaluation.
And my ranking points out, and I think accurately, that insurance policy and insurance implementation are two different things. Which is, I think, the reason that we don't have a unanimous vote on this. So it was split. I think it was 80-40, something along those lines, give or take. 81-42, yeah. So that was the reason, in my opinion, for that division. Some people didn't want the policy associated with the service being provided. I personally, as the chair, believe that that is the match that fits, but it's not universal by any means.
Someone also mentioned that on when it went through the Alvarez study, it was suggested as an efficiency move, and it has saved money, and that there's a lot of.
Would you like to go ahead and speak?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'd hand off to my ranking here for just a moment.
I'm sorry, I just was trying to keep it.
No, that's cool.
Well, I think one of the things we heard too is through the Alvarez study several years ago that this was a suggestion from them for efficiencies. It has proven to be efficient in what they recommended, and they have achieved those efficiencies. One of their issues at that time and not putting it with the insurance department is because one, insurance is policy, it's an policy agency. While they may answer questions, they typically don't settle claims and do all of that. The other thing, if I remember correctly, my mind is fading, is that when they were looking at efficiencies, when the administrative executive spoke to us on this bill, they were concerned that there are some things already in place. One, the insurance department just did move. They weren't sure, and we didn't have a physical note. We weren't sure that there's going to be enough room in their building. So one of his issues was they may, if they don't fit, they're going to be looking for another location. So that's going to require a move. They just recently, I think, put out an RFP for both of his department, I mean, this insurance department that's doing it, and then director of budget. And it was for some computer technology. Those would now have to go back for rebid because it would have to be split because it would be in two different places. Another cost. So already we're starting to lose the efficiencies that have been claimed at this point by the Alvarez piece. And then think that, let's see, staff would have to be trained in HIPAA. Now, I know we had a conversation on this in our committee, but everybody that does insurance handles three of the major things that were brought up. I just put that in there for conversation.
Appreciate that.
And that's correct. The insurance commissioner has assured me, however, that there is space in the building and that HIPAA compliance is not going to be an issue.
I did have a question, but thank you with the explanation you gave. Provide some additional insight. So, obviously, it sounds like there's some complexities to this bill that give me some hesitancy from not having a hearing and being able to have some of those questions addressed. So, but like I said, thank you for what you mentioned.
Any other questions? Senator Fag?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In committee, do you remember what the vote was on that coming out of committee?
That was that 10-7?
It was,
I believe it was 10-7.
it was either 10-7 or 9-7. It was close.
Any other?
That one, by the way, wasn't roll called. The eyes were more enthusiastic, so it was very obvious. But I believe if we were to go through the count, that was probably 10-7 on that one. Yes. Yes.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to make note that I can find out exactly how much it was on the 10-7 or the 11-7, 11-6 if it was. But the insurance department has a proven track record of customer service expertise that now extends to those state employees that will get the benefits package for their insurance needs. And I do believe that it's a better service and performance record that we have from the testimony that we received in committee.
Now I do, if you don't mind me changing gears just a little bit here, I would like to hear a little bit more on 553 regarding the amendment. I remember the bill. I read the bill ahead of time. The amendment, I have some concerns with. So if you could give me a little bit more information on that, that'd be great.
So the original amendment that was proposed in committee verbally from the hospital, it had language and it would require prior auth first of the year, and then also would require the insurance companies to accept that from any portal that a provider would have. And so we had some concerns, that type of thing. So the insurance companies and the hospitals and I believe there were some providers that were also part of this. Came together with language that was agreeable to all parties, from my understanding, or at least those that were negotiating, for the implementation date of 1/1 of 28. And then also there is language in there, and I can get you, or you could look
Pull
at
it up,
Senate Bill 553 and see the language that would allow information to pass back and forth. And it mirrors the CMS requirements that would be implemented in 27.
Okay, that's kind of the point that I was wanting to make sure that we were mirroring, because I knew CMS is already rolling this out. Wanted to make sure that that's what we were mirroring, and that's what we were trying to implement here. What was the rationale? If you don't mind my asking, if CMS is already rolling this out, what was the rationale for us rolling it out at a state level?
Because CMS does not cover private insurance.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense to me. Sorry? Medicaid, Medicare, yeah, right. Excellent.
I've kind of been mapping out a plan.
I'd love to hear it.
And so I'm not sure I'm ready to give it to you yet, but
Oh, well, it's a secret
maybe tomorrow morning. Don't know what your availability is. We have a conference with FINP at 9. I'm assuming we're going on the floor at 10.
We'll be on the floor at 10 as well.
So maybe 11.
Maybe 11 sounds like an excellent time. I believe if we can get a room.
I will make that call and let you know as soon as I find out.
Sounds
And,
fabulous.
Give you the room number, but let's tentatively plan on 11 tomorrow. And I'll get you the information so that we can announce that.
Sounds perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate yours. Thank you.
Thank you.